Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Gurren Otaku Council podcast. As always, I'm your host Ace. That is McMillian, and this is episode 79. With today, we got the Vinland Saga season 2 review for you, and of course, much more. But of course, before we get into all that, if you'd like to join me, my friend McMillian here, and discuss all things anime, sometimes manga, then please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to join the council and become a part of the crew. All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, the council is now in session. Let the meeting begin. All right, everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Thank you all for joining us for another week. Hope everybody's doing super duper fantastic as always. How you doing today, McMillian?
I am doing good, my friend. How about you?
Doing good. Well, all right. Well, as always, we're gonna hit them with the council announcements and go ahead and get everything started.
All right. So, council announcements, as always, we're gonna start with the agenda. Today, we're bringing you Vinland Saga season 2 reviews discussion brought to you by Ace and McMillian. Then we'll be going into anime news, giving you our weekly recommendation as always, and round it out with Frieren episode 24. And as a reminder, I would just like to remind everyone, last week we released our Tokyo Revengers season 3 review. So if you have any interest in hearing what we thought of the Tenjuku arc, go ahead and check that out, because middle school violence was back, and indeed it was wild. And then lastly, I'd just like to remind everybody that we're still on the road to reaching 100 subscribers. So like I said before, if you're fucking with the content, if you're fucking with the boys, please go ahead and hit that red button. And if you're not over watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to this audio platforms, I still encourage you to go over and on YouTube and show us some love if you can.
And also, don't forget to show us some love to the audio only platforms as well. Give us a follow. We're on wherever you get your podcast, we're there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, moving on to there, we're going to move on to our first discussion of the day, everybody. The Vinland Saga season 2 review. And I'm just going to straight up say this. I'm apologize, everybody. I'm sorry. This review was supposed to came out so long ago. It's ridiculous, but we are here now. But I know I'm looking into the camera, and this is me apologizing to everybody. All right, I'm the reason why you didn't get this review earlier. All right, but we're here now.
Yeah, because I was ready. I've been ready.
And boy, and I will say I am upset at myself, and mainly because the reason why you didn't get this sooner is because simply I just was procrastinating on watching the last few episodes of the season 2. But I'm actually upset that I did that because this shit was a masterpiece, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. Vinland Saga season 2 is damn near hands down one of the best character development arcs that I've ever watched before. This shit was amazing.
Yes, I completely agree. Completely agree. I don't know if we necessarily have to give a breakdown, but just in case for the people that are watching us that may not remember season 2 or I guess don't care about getting spoiled. Season 2 primarily focuses on Thorfinn's time as a slave on Ketzel's farm, and we get to see what his journey is like from growing from the brazen young man who was filled with nothing but hatred to realizing, I think, what his father was trying to tell him all those years ago about being a true warrior actually is.
100%. And it definitely came full circle with this season. Yes, especially with the whole I have no enemies things, because I was seeing that that picture and all that going around when the season was airing. I was like, what's going on with this? But I do remember his now, of course, after seeing it again, I remember his father saying it in the season when I was like, okay, there we go. Here's the full circle moment. It's all coming together.
Yeah, it's funny. I forgot that like during the season that phrase became so popular again, or like to a point where like it was memed, and I forgot that you weren't watching at the time, so you probably was like, I know this is from Vinland Saga, but why is it blowing up like this? And now you know.
Yeah, now I know because. We know I'm going to talk about this first. We're kind of jumping into the middle of the season, but that's fine. But during that moment where Thorfinn goes, to talk to the king and all that stuff, you had that moment where he's like, trying to gain audience with the king, right? before we get to that whole I have no enemy scene. I was just like, are they really finna sit here and do this whole let Thorfinn getting punched, all these times? Like he's actually finna go through this? Is this what we really about to do? I was like, that's kind of lame, right? Huh? It is like, I don't see. I was like, what? But I was okay. Kept watching, and then the whole situation resolved itself, and I was like, yeah, let me shut the fuck up. Let me shut the fuck up, because this shit right. Because this shit right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you call motherfucking resolve.
I was like, you know what? He got it. He got it. Because I completely feel you. I completely understand where you're coming from, and now I understand why, like you said, why that phrase in this moment was so hyped and talked about during the season. Like, all right, y'all got it. You got it. This shit was made. That shit was phenomenal.
But got his ass beat so much to the point where everybody was like, "Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I see it. I understand." And I truly have no enemies. There's no reason to do this.
Let him talk to the king.
In the middle of getting his ass beat, I was like, "Damn, hold on. Do I really want to keep doing this?"
Because he could have easily whooped that man, easily. But we chose a different path.
Or easily dodge the punches. I see Thorfinn dodge a tree get thrown at him. So like,
or that. And you know what? I guess while we're on Thorfinn, we're just finna go ahead and talk about his whole arc right here, and we'll get to everybody else, right? So our boy Thorfinn, right? This was truly truly a transformation like no other. I don't think like I ain't never seen nothing like this, but it's kind of crazy though, like because from since he was a child, all he knew was just war, just war. That's just all that man known was war and revenge because this man killed his father. And understandable. I'm gonna get my get back, but through becoming a slave, he realized maybe actually going to war and doing all this, that was probably one of the worst decisions I ever could have actually made.
Yeah. He lost because he lost everything. Like, one of my favorite quotes from like, I don't know if it was like this season or season 1 because I know it's like Askeladd said it, and in this season there's so many flashbacks that he has with like talking to Askeladd, but like it's a scene when after Askeladd dies, and Thorfinn, and he says, Thorfinn, what are you gonna do with your life? Basically, and he can't answer because he's like, my whole life has been to get revenge on you to the point where I don't know nothing else. I know nothing else other than warfare or bloody fight, or to feel myself with nothing but the anger and hatred I've had for all these years. I don't know what it's like to be a person, and it was so interesting to see him because quite honest, at the beginning of the season he was at his lowest. He was sold into slavery and he did not care whether he lived or died. And then for him to be in technically, well, like I guess it was weird because he was in a shitty situation, but like a good shitty situation. Because he could have had a way worse master than Kettle. Obviously, when they went and showed that, but like he learned so much about just like what it's like to be a person. So it was just, I mean, like you said, have never
actually got to, even though he was a slave in the sense he got to live for the first time. Still.
Yeah, and I'm
which
like,
is kind of crazy to say, but still.
Yeah, and I'm just, and like you said, you never seen the only other level of character work that I've seen that even somewhat scratches this is Zuko's redemption arc, because of just how like layered like that was, him becoming a prince, going on the run, living in Ba Sing Se, betraying, then realizing, oh fuck, I hate myself, all that. Like that's the only other thing I can kind of even say like that scratches this, but nothing truly hit. Like they dedicated a season to this man farming. Like an
entire 24 episodes. An entire season. And it was great.
To this man farming and listen to his best friend wanting to get with the master's mistress. And it was some of the most entertaining shit I've watched.
Yes. I mean, because the entire time I was like, how are they gonna, what was gonna be the conflict for the season, right? I was like, what is gonna be the conflict, the reason? I understand, we're going through what's his name? Thorfinn's character development, all that. I get that. That's wonderful, beautiful. But there's still got to be some type of conflict, right? And then we get Canute. Lo and behold, the whole situation with Canute, and I'm like, oh, there we go. There it is. There it is. And then the way that ended, that was crazy. The whole discussion between him and Canute, we'll get to that a little bit later. But that right there, you talking about Optimus Prime speeches?
Yeah. Yeah.
That right there, and I was like, okay, that's definitely where they also sold me for the season. I was like, oh yeah, this shit is amazing. This is just amazing.
I think the moment where before those two, I think like the moment that really like got me for this season was when we meet Arnhead, or however you pronounce her name, because I know I'm a butcher. But when you meet her husband, and like Thorfinn is to the point where like Thorfinn is like, I'm like, he's almost like, I see myself in this guy, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, because I was like, oh fuck, this like, how do you justify saving this person? Even Thorfinn was like, like, I'm trying to fight for them to have a life together, but at the end of the day, Snake is right. Like, this guy like, he gotta go. I was like,
you did murder 5 men, but then he was at the same time, it's like, but murdering him is not gonna bring those 5 men back. But I do understand though, he murdered 5 of your men. I understand completely. You have basically, honestly, you have every right to kill them. Well, not necessarily, I guess, right, but
like, and no one will fault you for it. Like, is the thing, right? And then also, I couldn't even be mad at Arne's husband, because I'm like, he was turned to a slave and done, and shitty shit was done to him. His wife was taken from him, his kid. Like, that, how do you ask a man to go on living normally like that? Like, that's not. That was such a. I was just like, morally wise, and then to understand it, like, just from the aspect, like, this guy was Thorfinn. Thorfinn was him, technically. Just instead of a wife and a child, it was his dad that got taken from him. So it's like, dude, how do you rectify? Like, I could see why Thorfinn wanted to save him so badly, but I was also like, damn, like, they got a point. He gotta go.
He gotta go. He took out 5 of my guys. We not gonna take that lightly. All right, we're not gonna take that lightly. I understand, but yeah, no, that was crazy. And then what was the next point I wanted to hit? So Thorfinn. Oh yeah, so just the whole dynamic from him, like you said, going from this whole war machine person, built for war, to now going completely doing a 180, want to be a pacifist, and even going as far as saying, okay, I want to build a place for everybody else that essentially where I, to the lowest of places where I've been before. I want to build a place just for those type of people as well, where they don't have to worry about essentially, heaven on earth is what he called it, right?
Yeah.
It's just a crazy 180 flip. But I guess, a guy who sees the dynamic between both war and slavery will come to that type of conclusion.
I like Thorfinn has been the lowest totem pole on, I think, both sides. Probably, I wouldn't say, like, he's been a fearsome warrior, and technically to the point where, like, and even when he was a warrior of a position that's respected by some people, he was a Viking first, and like, that was just like pillaging. That Vikings don't got a good reputation, so like, he wasn't like necessarily like a high status person, but he's seen like what war does to people, but he's also seen like what having no means and being like considered livestock is
does
for a person.
Man, yeah.
But also how even people in both of those situations have wants and needs and desires and people that they love that drive them to do things. Like, that's why I was like, I think it really hits home by the end of the season when he says, when you get to the "I have no enemies" part, because it's like, fuck, like, if anybody could, could say it, it's you.
Yeah, like he said, like, we don't even know each other. Why are we fighting? I was like,
fighting.
You're absolutely right. We don't know each other at all. And the first thing we do when we meet each other, we raise swords. Like, come on, guys. Like you said, it got to be a better way. Now, it's understandable. Why is this the first thing, the first answer? And that's, the question he was asking. And he was like, what is, if fighting is the last resort, what is the first, resort? What is the number one thing to go to? And I guess, talking. I guess is what he came to that discussion, or I guess maybe in a sense just peace, not peace. What's the word I'm looking for?
Splitting amicably? I don't know.
I would just go with peace, but I'll just keep it with peace. It works for right now. But
yeah, I mean, it's probably a synonym with peace.
And then it's also, and then I'm also jumping ahead a little bit, but because after I finished this, let me know what you felt, how you felt. Because after I finished this season, it almost felt like a series ender in a sense.
So the only reason I wouldn't agree with that is
even though I know it's like more story because the margarita's like it's other stuff to go through and whatnot, yeah, but it just felt like a series ending. I don't know. It's just I don't know. They just really tied everything so well together.
I mean, they did a good job. I think this is what happens when you close an arc of a story really well. Like how was it? Like you clearly have a point A to point B to like the point where like there's not really like any plot holes or like big questions that need to be answered. It is legitimately like we told a succinct story of a character's growth. The only reason I wouldn't agree with like I felt like it was a season ender is because of the last episode. Thorfinn legit says like I'm only like to his family that he hasn't seen in years. It's like, yeah, I love to see y'all. It's great. But I still have a dream to find Vinland and set up the place he's always wanted. And that basically tells me that like, oh, okay, we're actually going to see Thorfinn's journey. Like besides the fact that obviously I know there's a manga and stuff like that, but like him declaring that is such like there will be more to the story.
Of course.
Like that's the only reason I would probably say I wouldn't agree. But other than that, I completely agree with you. They did such a good job. If they hadn't had that moment, I would have been like, what a lovely story.
What a lovely story.
Like if it ended with like Thorfinn looking at his mom and being like, I'm home, and them having an embrace and it just like faded to black, I would have been like, damn.
Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Understandable. Exactly. Yeah, I know because like you said, once he got home, I think, like you said, it just wrapped up this arc just so well. It's like, oh yeah, it was just a very very nice ending. Because then at the end, it also gave it that like comedic relief that we really didn't have throughout the entire season.
Him meeting his sister was definitely funny because it was just like she was like, oh, cool, and I'm like, she ain't sad at all. Like, not at all. No, okay.
Yeah. they got a few tears out of me this season, just a few, not a lot, but just a few. They got me.
Oh, when old girl died, I think so. I shed some tears because I was just like, it's just so fucked. Her whole life just got obliterated within like the past 24 hours. Cause she like have some peace. Damn.
Her life turned around. Well, her life was already turned around, but it hit another turning point in 24, like you said, 24 hours.
I was just like, this is that was I remember. Oh, well, I guess we could talk about Kettle now because we kind of.
Well, before we get to Kettle, one last thing about Thorfinn, and then we'll get to some other people here. So, okay, how do you think with this whole pacifist situation that we Thorfinn got going on? How do you think that's going to play a factor with the the rest of the seasons and story?
I think they're going to test his pacifism, because I think even like, for instance, within this season they did that. So like when Einar and him were chopping down that forest to plant crops, and they finally got that done, and they finally had like their crops going. Was it the other free men or people that didn't like Einar? Yeah, the fucking ruined they ruined their crops basically, and was like, oh wow, animals did that. I can't believe it. Einar was about to get active, and Thorfinn was like, and then they kept fucking with it to the point where like Einar threw a punch at Thorfinn to defend him, even like got in the scrap, right? So like obviously like this season already did. I feel like what's gonna happen with him on his travels, he's gonna meet. They're gonna put him
in situations.
Him more, yeah. It's gonna test him more to the point where he really has to question if like this is the like can he truly create a paradise
without
without
any
any
violence.
fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I feel you.
because
Then
that's
going back to your point where you were saying earlier about they already tested him, they know they tested him again with the whole snake situation when he was going to kill old girl's husband, right?
mm-hmm,
And he came to the conclusion, well, like I have to, is either fight snake, right? Even though he wasn't fighting to kill him, but it was still either
yeah,
fight snake or let my person that I'm trying to protect die. So
mm-hmm,
he had to do what it do. That scene was also nice as well because even though like Thorfinn, it wasn't like fighting for years and stuff. You can still tell he had it because soon as he got into stands, you just it sent shivers down
that's what
Snake's spine.
Snake's fine. Yeah, because Snake was in that moment. Snake realized he was like, if I don't do this, if I don't do this,
Do it
if I don't act
properly,
like this
yeah.
seriously, yeah, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose, and that was that was a great moment, in and of itself as well. And I like really, oh man, because I can't remember exactly when this happened, but like one of the most important things I think for like Thorfinn's journey is that flashback that he has with Askeladd and like all the people he's killed,
Mm-hmm.
like are dragging him down, like trying to get him to like come to
Yeah.
hell basically, and he's like, I don't. This is what I deserve, but at the same time, like I want to live, like. Man.
It's crazy, but that's why I say I gotta, if I'm gonna continue to live, I gotta atone for my sins. I gotta atone for all the killing and I've done and all the people I've directly put in slavery and stuff like that. Like it's plenty of people that's in slavery right now, but directly because of me and my actions that I did, and just this was great. Like I said, this was one of the best character developments I ever seen and ever watched. Like this was phenomenal, but. Let's get to a few other characters here before we give Thorfinn a little too much love here. So you were starting to talk about something about Kettle. You want to continue that point?
Yeah.
You was making?
So what I was about to say, like with Kettle, I think Kettle is a very important character to the season because besides the fact that he's a slave owner, the way he treats his slaves is very different than I feel like what we got to see from the other images of slavery throughout Vinland Saga. He very much so in his own way, I feel like is trying to emulate Thorfinn. And when I say that, I mean Kettle. We learned throughout the season that like Kettle himself has not necessarily not been like a warrior, but he's seen what fighting does to people. Like he lost I guess a girl he was in love with due to like some infighting based on like his like some I think like in the area his family used to own and stuff like that. And so when it like came down to I guess like him owning slaves on his property, he's like, hey, I mean you're gonna work for me and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna treat you like a terrible person. You're gonna have a area you could sleep, you're gonna get food. After you've worked so much, you can even buy the land that you worked on and own it. I mean, granted, you'll be a part of like my estate, like technically, and you'll be like I guess an employee then, or like at least like what it would say, a part of his colony.
But you'll
almost,
be free.
I guess I would say. But you'll be free, right? You'll be able to do whatever you want.
You're not bound to the farm. At that point, you want to leave, you can still leave. Yeah,
and like one thing I feel like that shows that he's trying to, in a way, create his own paradise is that like even when he is confronted with a moment where he could be like extremely violent, at least in the beginning, like when the kid steals from his family, and they're like, hey, the proper punishment for this is cutting off this child's hand. He tries to offer the kid like a job and feed. Like he's like he only stole because he was like hungry and stuff like that. And he was like debating if he should do it because he was like, oh, if I don't do this I might be appear as weak and other people might think they can take my land.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. But he very much shows that he's like, I'm trying to rule with restraint. The interesting part is, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
No, you good. You good. No, I was just yawning.
Because I was about to just bring it home. Like I was just saying, the interesting part is he's very much, in my opinion, probably like a foil of Thorfinn because like while he talks a big game, I think like a lot of what happens truly shows kind of like his character, which is at the end of the day, he is while he tries to act like he doesn't want to be this antagonistic person or anything like that. If you threaten what he feels like he owns, then you get this monster. You have this.
You got a problem on your hands.
Yeah.
And then I guess even in the way, well, I guess we know we found out he was a con artist in a way because he was tricking people with his name, but he was even, I guess, a con artist in other ways because, like, look at all those people he had in debt to him. You know what I mean? So it's not like he was out here just living righteous. Besides just other than just owning slaves, even though he was still technically like treating them better than other masters and stuff like that. He was still doing other shady stuff.
Yeah. Like, and that's why I was like saying, I was like, I feel like Kettle serves as an interesting, like, introspective look of like what a person look like who claims that they're to be doing good, but in reality, they're just as bad as any other person.
Like, it's like, yeah, you might do some stuff better than other people, but when we get down to the real nitty gritty of things, you're no better than anybody else.
Yeah, yes, because like for instance, the way he treat Arnez, which he got back, and he like found out that not even because of something
that was wild, and that man had. That man does not love his wife. He should just told that lady to leave.
Oh no,
he should just told that lady to leave. I don't even know why she was still there. Well, I know why she was still there because where is she gonna go? But
yeah,
he should just told that lady to leave.
But that situation.
At that point, she's just there taking up resources. At that point,
that's fucked up. Yeah, it's true. That's fucked up. But like the whole situation with Arnez, I think just basically it was like the thing that really just drove it home of like you were trying, like he was more upset over her trying to escape than the fact that like somebody came and killed people he claimed to like and were friends with. Like he was more of like, oh, you tried to leave me. You can leave me. It's you can leave. In a body bag.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, that was wild to me too. Because even though, like, I knew, like you say, he had the infatuation for her, but I didn't think he was gonna flip like that. You know what I mean? Like that was kind of crazy, especially when she told him like I'm with child, like that. He even with that point he still didn't care. He just kept going. I was like, oh wow, you really snapped, huh?
I was about to say like this is, that's why I'm just to say like he presents to be a good person, but the moment you threaten what is perceived that he owns, it's all bets are off.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, he did kill her. He killed her.
They murdered the shit out of her.
It's that was crazy, and then that whole. Oh my God. The whole scene where she's on the goddamn cart with her husband and shit, just walking and talking. I'm like, why are they doing this to me, bro? Like,
that's why I said, that's why I said, I was like, I shedded tears. I ain't got no shame about it.
I was like, I don't need this in my life right now. Why are they doing this to me?
I ain't got no shame about it. Cried big boy tears.
Why are they doing this to me? That whole scene was just so touching. I was like, y'all got it. That scene. I was like, because then it was like, even it's kind of crazy because it's like she fell in love twice in a sense as well. Because like even though she never really said it, she kind of did still fell in love with both Thorfinn and oh boy, Canute to a certain extent.
I know, yeah.
Oh, was it not Canute? Not Canute.
Einar, right?
Thank you, Einar. Yeah, his friend. Thank you.
Okay, I was trying to make sure because I said Einar and then you was like Canute, and I'm like, wait, hold on, what?
I was looking at the document and I was reading.
Because like they became a family essentially.
Yeah,
Einar, Thorfinn, the old Kettle's dad or granddad, I can't remember, and her, like they were all basically a family. That was their little corner. They had a little slice of the world right there. And it came crashing down after the shit with her husband, and then Canute bringing his army and all that stuff. So that's
crazy. That was crazy. They didn't have to do old girl like that. She could have made it. She was supposed to make it. They ain't have to do her like that. I understand the husband dying.
I think, like I said before, I think those like that was a moment to kind of serve like the point of story to audience and maybe also to Thorfinn is like, this is what anger does. This is what you were doing. Like, technically, you were killing indiscriminately for like your own purpose, and this is the same thing that this man just did. And this is the fallout, because technically, like, they, you know, it created such a big wound for Thorfinn and Einar. Like, they were so close to freedom.
Yeah, and then like you said, on top of that, kind of how with the decision to, where's my train of thought?
Find it.
I don't lost it. It's with there we go. The decision to leave. Thank you. Einer's decision to leave, and how he was saying, you know, that was the worst decision of my life. Because, you know, he didn't have to leave, but that was a decision that him and, you know, the other man, the other village decided to do. And it ended up basically messing up all of their lives when they could have just stayed put. And that was the same conclusion that Thorfinn came to. You know, I made the decision to go chase revenge, when in actuality I should have took my ass back home.
Back home, yeah. Back home.
So yeah, like I said, it's that whole the opposite side of Thorfinn. Like, there's still, but he was still on that path though of just being filled with rage.
Yep,
it's crazy.
Yep. And now for Canute, his character progression. Now that boy done changed.
That man done his character development is actually wild too, because at the same time, it's odd because, like, he still kind of has like those values that we saw from like the first season, right? But they've been like warped in a sense, but they're still there. But it's just, and it's not even like all the time. It's just like certain times, and I guess it's probably those times where he's hearing his dad in his head. His man's like going crazy, talking to his dad, the severed head of his dad all season.
Yeah, but that's why I like. I mean, those parts I think were like the episodes where I got Canute is where also like a lot of really interesting stuff happened, because during this point in the show when like the episodes were coming out, a lot of people were comparing Canute and Thorfinn as if they were like a mirror of each other, because Thorfinn had to go through violence to kind of reach a peaceful life or conclusion, and Canute had to leave a peaceful life to try and make a peaceful life for everybody. Because like he was pampered, he was a spoiled kid, and then he got Escalade, did all this stuff to like kind of put him in the position of power.
I mean, at that point, like, it was either do that or be killed though by your brother.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like he technically, like, what I'm saying is like he had all these like righteous morals and stuff like that, and then the thing that put him where he was extreme violence. And to the point, it's like, and it's so bad to the point where he's like, okay, I'm king now, and people want to make war. How do I stop them from making war? Oh, crush my opponent relentlessly. Make it so I have no opponents, basically, is
essentially
what he came to the conclusion he came to. And I'm just like, it's so crazy how like flips their ideals are, because Thorfinn is like, I have no enemies because truly no person is another enemy of a person. We're all the same, essentially. And Canute is like, I will have no enemies because at the end of the day, I'm going to create the fact that I have no enemies. Everybody is my enemy, and that won't stop.
If I had no enemies, it's because I wiped them all out.
All out.
That's the motto he's trying to live by. But you know what? Let's get to the whole conversation between him and Thorfinn right at the end there, since we're on Canute here. Just his whole, like you said, his whole reasoning and this mindset, his ideology that he has now is, like I said, it's still kind of the same, but it's a little bit warped, because like he wants to, like you said, he wants to, in his sense, still create a world of peace, but yet he's think he has to go about it by leading with violence. And then he also, at the same time, he thinks he's going against God and saving the Vikings at the same time, because he feels like because the Vikings are just born like this, you know, they're born for violence and stuff like that. God has forsaken these people and just left them to, you know, by the wayside. Well, he said, you know what, no, fuck that. I will bring you under my arm. We'll fight against God together, and we'll create we'll create heaven on earth. I'm just like, that's a crazy way of thinking, but like it's crazy to me. You picking up what this man is putting down, but still disagreeing with this man at the same time. It's like, like what?
Yeah, but I was like, that whole part right there is like the why I think like that the conversation between him and Thorfinn was so interesting, because it was like we are both trying to reach the same conclusion, and we are on like so opposites of the aisle.
Yeah.
Like, and we used to be, I mean, granted, technically that's how they've been like a little bit like their whole lives, and even like knowing each other, because like even when Canute met Thorfinn, he was like, I don't want no parts of you. When they originally met, it was like, I do not want no parts of you. And now like it's almost like they're trying to emulate the other when they met, like where Canute is trying to be like this dominant warrior, this like
yeah, like
force.
it's almost like they swap places in a sense. Now that you mention it, when I think about it,
and Thorfinn is trying to be this man of peace, but I won't say I don't think was he. No, Thorfinn wasn't religious for a second. I was about to say like, and he's Thorfinn, but he does have like a message, which is basically no person is your enemy. Yeah, everybody is essentially just a person. Like everybody's the same. We all have loved ones. We're all trying to reach some goal. There's no reason that we have to fight.
Yeah. No, that that's crazy, man. Like, cause really, this season really got me thinking. Like, what would it be like to live in a world where, and I guess some might say that's still kind of how we live in today's time. But like, will we truly live in a world like where the strong rules everything? You know what I mean?
I mean, you kind of just said it, but like,
that's why I said it. In some sense, you can still kind of say that's how the world is in some sense.
I was say it,
but not necessarily for like every aspect of life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I don't have to worry about. Well, I guess you still have to worry about like people come to your house in that aspect, but not like on a daily basis. Like I don't have to worry about the Vikings coming over the horizon to come pillage the goddamn neighborhood. You know what I mean?
In a sense, yes, definitely, yeah. I mean, hey, if you get a time machine, you can figure. Oh, man. I was about to say, because they're not gonna like us if we go back there.
I hate you. I really hate you. I hate you.
My bad.
Damn, you right. And I hate that. I'm cursed with knowledge now. I didn't need to know that piece of information, even though I already knew it. You didn't have to make it plain
I'm
to
so
see.
sorry. I apologize.
That's basically how it was. I hate you.
I apologize.
Oh my God. Oh man. No, they did us dirty. It's okay. We trying to get out of there. We're trying to get out of there. But enough real life.
Back to this anime, which has so many real life lessons.
It does though. So it is really. Well, I guess what I'm going to say, being a black man, there's a lot of stuff that I can compare it to and stuff. So,
I mean, the biggest thing I think is just the fact that like Thorfinn, at the end of the day, while he's trying to, I guess, create like this peaceful world for people, all he wants to do is essentially live his life.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could pretty much sure anybody that look like me and you understands what that's like, living where we do. So like it like to just bring it back to like him and Canute's whole thing is like Canute feels like you can only reach a state like that when no other opposing force exists. And Thorfinn's whole thing is you can coexist with anybody. It's just you gotta live with them. Understand it. And Canute's like, I can't take that chance, basically. Because that's what leads to war and infighting, all that other stuff. And it's just,
yeah, we're trying to achieve the same goal, but just two different paths, unfortunately. Two drastically different paths at that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just the whole season. Like, I don't know I gotta go look up who the writer is for this because like this story is very well written.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's very
definitely.
well
Probably
written.
some of the best probably like fiction that there is like right now. Like I definitely see like why people speak so highly of Vinland Saga. To the point because even like the first season, like I was really enjoying even because they had stellar writing moments besides like the fighting and
Of
stuff like that.
course,
Like
of course.
you had there was so like much character work and things being done. Well, like because like for instance, I feel like it's interesting because I think when I told somebody to watch Vinland Saga before, they were like, "I really like this show. It's just like really cool fights and all this other stuff." And then they get to the episode where their trek was Askeladd and his men trekking through the snow and they come upon that village,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, and my friend was like, "Why the fuck did you tell me to watch this?" I saw
Yeah.
sunshine and rainbows. They had war.
It ain't all sunshine and rainbows at war, man. It ain't. And but you know, speaking of that, since we touching on some side stuff for Vinland here, I do think Vinland Saga, the anime, right, is one of the best at like handling large scale battles. They do a fantastic job
Oh
at
yeah,
that.
yeah. That I mean, granted, no, technically we did get to see a little bit of it this season, but yeah, definitely. I'll never forget the episode where they fucking picked up their boats and ran with them. That's permanent. That's up here. That is a permanent image.
It is burnt in there. I feel you. I feel you. I know that was a
That
dope.
shit was rough.
Yeah, that was. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in season one that I vividly remember.
But I'm just saying, like that moment, like that, because you got the whole battlefield part, and then these motherfuckers emerge from the bushes
Yeah,
with a boat, and I'm just like,
sprinting.
I was like, this is fucking insane. This is also it's just the
Sprinting.
way it was animated. I was like, this is the shit.
Because it's just like I feel like when you have shows with like good action in it, sometimes like even like you couldn't have like good writing in it still, but it's not like God tier like this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like Vinland Saga like has some of the best actions, you know, in anime and stuff like that, and it is the best story as well. Like this,
yeah.
there was. No, we all know there was nowhere near as much fighting in this season, right? In season 2 and season 1, but there is definitely a hell of a strong case that you can make that season 2 is better than season 1, though.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely could. You definitely could just off of the character work alone, and like, cause, and I don't know. Granted, I know a lot of people are saying like making a joke online. If I see anybody say like season 2 is boring, they're crazy. I never felt like I was bored watching season 2. I was just more of like, what are we about to do today? More so like what was going to be like the point, like the point of today's episode, like the episodes I was on. I was never like bored. It was more of just like I'm very interested to see where we're going,
Yeah,
because I was just like, this is so we're like not every episode, but like it felt like they were building towards something, and I just couldn't tell what. And I wanted to see where they were going. Like I never really felt like I was bored.
yeah, same here. Like I said, I wasn't ever bored like that. 'Cause even the only point I even like really questioned myself during while watching the season was at that point before the I have no enemies. But then, like I said, I was completely wrong after I watched that scene because I was like, yeah. Because lo and behold, you know, the shonen junkie in me, I was like, that's gonna be lame. Why not just, you know, basically what the guy said, why not just fight him? You know, that's how I was at the beginning. But I was like, you know what, do your thing, Thorfinn. You got it.
Do your big one. Do your big one, my guy. Yep.
You got it.
So
anything else
yes.
you want to touch up on? For Vinland Saga here, man, because it was so good.
I think I hit it. I think I hit everything. How about you?
I think I touched up on everything as well. Because yeah, we touched up on Canute, hit up a lot on Thorfinn. Talked about Armid and Kettles. I don't know if is there anything we missed about Kettles that you want to hit on? I don't know if you wanted to touch up on Snake as well either.
Not necessarily. Like, there like I hit every point I wanted to hit with Kettle. Snake, I think, is an interesting character because like while he himself I guess isn't like a good dude, he even said like I was a prisoner and I'm a criminal, I've done some terrible things, but like I was given the second chance. And I'm gonna like protect it with all I can. Like I really liked his character because I think like if there was besides I think like Thorfinn's definition of a warrior, the type of person Snake is, I also like admire someone who like is loyal and understands like where his place is, like where kind of like who he is like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like like all he is all he can be, and he understands like Keto might not be a perfect person, but he gave him this life that he enjoys a lot, and he's like, I'm going to stick beside like
I'm gonna
that
stick
and
beside
continue.
him. That's my boy.
Yeah. He's like and continue to fight like until I can. And I'll say this like about him, like I really enjoyed that aspect of a character because like I feel like you get so swept up, I feel like, in grandiose dreams about characters and stuff like that in media that sometimes it's hard to remember that, like, hey man, some people just want to live just live their life, like just be out here. And that was basically Snake. Like he was like, I'm not really trying to do anything extra. I'm not really trying to like do it. I have a job I live in a place I like. I'm just
I'm
trying to
chilling.
continue that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Before we do head out of here, I guess I got two last points I want to make. Shout out to old boy. Throughout all these years, looking for Thorfinn, brought my man's home. He never gave up.
Yes.
He a real one. He was a man of his word. He stuck it through. Like because he that ain't his son. You know what I mean? He had no obligation to Thorfinn, but he said he was gonna do it, and he did it. He said he was gonna bring that man back home, and he brought him home. So shout out to him. I can't remember your name, but you a real one. You a real one. And then last but not least, Thorgil, please go sit your ass down somewhere. All right.
Yeah. And that man I had cocaine.
Please go sit your ass down somewhere, Thorgil. I really need you. Listen, I need you to understand that you lost. It's okay. You actually you was almost the MVP for a second. I ain't gonna hold you, but you lost.
Mm-hmm. Pure crack energy. That's what that character was.
Yeah, he listen. He was with it. He was with it though. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you. He was with it though.
Yeah.
But all right, but that is the end of the Vinland Saga Season 2 review. Before we head on to our next discussion, we got some words from our sponsor.
Once again, shout out to Magic Mind for supporting the podcast. We really appreciate it. If you guys are interested in staying energized throughout your day with a healthy energy supplement, go ahead and check out the people over at Magic Mind. They're an all-natural supplement that you can take to boost your energy. It's just a little green shot that you can have with your coffee or, what other else you drink throughout the day. Keep you energized and good, feeling good. Sorry, excuse me. Using our code or going to the website with the link in it, magicmind.com/Gurren Otaku, or using Gurren20, you can go ahead and get yourself a subscription to Magic Mind for a percentage off. And receive, I believe it's 3 shots every month for about like half a year, and stay energized. Make sure you're staying up to date with everything, so you can go out into the world your best self. But if you're not interested in getting, if you just want to try it, you can go ahead and always use a one-time purchase, and then start your Magic Mind journey after that from there. But from our experience using it, I highly recommend getting the subscription. But once again, if you're interested in trying Magic Mind, you can find them over on magicmind.com/Gurren Otaku, or use our code Gurren20 to get yourself a discount on your subscription or one-time purchase.
And use our code Gurren20 to get up to 20% discount on your purchase. There we go. As always,
once again, thank you.
Yeah, well, there you go. As always, shout out to Magic Mind for sponsoring today's episode. I apologize.
No, you good. I mean, you basically wrapped it up like I was going to.
But yeah. But now moving on from there, everybody. You already know what time it is, everybody. It's time for news. It's time for GLC News, your weekly source for your favorite anime news. So let's get into it. All right, everybody, welcome back to GLC News. We missed you last week, but wasn't much going on last week, so we know it wasn't much to talk about, so we didn't have it. But we're back and in action, and we got a maybe not a slew of stuff, but we got a little list.
Good amount. Good amount.
We got a little list here. All right, so starting us off, everybody. Our worst dreams have come true. All the rumors and everything that you've been hearing about, unfortunately, they were real. And it's happening, everybody. The next big three, Naruto is getting a live action movie adaptation.
Yep.
Once again, as always, just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't know who's asking for this, but here we are. So, McMillian, thoughts?
Cash grab. That is my thought. This is being made. This live action is being made by Lionsgate, so it's an American studio.
I don't care who it's being made by.
You know what? Oh, well, I was only mentioning that because, like, to me,
the only studio that
usually
could say this is Marvel in 2016. That's the only studio.
Potentially, yeah. But the only reason I like brought that up is because like there are certain Japanese live actions of stuff like Bleach has like a live action movie, and not to say like if it's good or bad, but like at least it's handled by people that actually like care about it. I don't know if anybody at Lionsgate knew what Naruto was until somebody was like, "Hey, this manga was popular. It's got a dedicated fan base. We could potentially make some money off of it." Because that's all I hear when I saw this news, that some executive somewhere was like, "We need something that could make us a lot of money. What's popular?"
Hey, y'all seen what Netflix did with that live action anime thingy? Why don't we do it? What's another popular one we can do? Oh, there's this one called Naruto, boss. Great, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I thought. That's the exact thought scene that played out in my head when I saw that, because I was like, this just feels like they trying to make some money, basically, after seeing the success of One Piece. But like, I don't know if they're gonna,
because apparently like this has been on and off in the works for a few years now, and like you said, I'm with you. I don't think if we ever got the One Piece live action, this shit probably would have never got off the ground.
Yeah. No, I do not think they would have went with it, especially based off of what, like, people trying to make Dragon Ball, the live action Dragon Ball movie.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, cash grab. This is what this is,
But as always, we hope that you can prove us wrong. Production studios. We're always hoping that you prove us wrong, but until then, us and other fans of this medium are going to continue to be right. We're not active for this. Some stuff, needs to just stay animated. It's animated for a reason.
I'm gonna tell people right now. If I doubt a studio executive is listening to our podcast, but if you are, put live action shit in animation. I guarantee you'll make more money. Stop doing the reverse.
You probably would, actually.
Stop doing the reverse. You would make so much more money if you just flip the script.
I mean, look at Spider-Verse. Even though technically, I guess you could say it started off as like a comic book then animation stuff before it was movies,
but like still,
yeah. It's an example though.
Like, I don't know. That you could just do so much more than just keep changing animation shit into live action.
I think I seen a tweet earlier. Somebody was saying, "Why are we not funding the people who has new bright ideas?" Where are those people? I know they're out there.
I'm really sick of everything either being a sequel or a remake. I'm really tired. I am so tired.
Like, where are the fresh new ideas? Stop feeding me this recycled BS. But yeah, so moving on from there, everybody. So as y'all know, Funimation and Crunchyroll is merging, and Funimation is going to be shutting down fully here soon. And a lot of the digital copies and stuff that people bought, they're going to be completely gone. But the CEO did come out and say that they do plan on compensating all digital owners for their purchases and stuff that they made. We don't know yet what this compensation is, but they do say they plan to compensate their users. And the terminology they used was appropriate value. I know you was just about to get in.
Yeah, because I'm about to say that's important, because there was no number spoken. Yeah. It was just appropriate value, which I don't got a lot of faith in.
And then once again, we don't even know if that's like a reimbursement type thing, or is this like you're gonna give me digital owned stuff that's on Crunchyroll now, like that was an equal pricing. Like, we don't know. We still don't know what that means.
Yeah, because this is a little sentence from an article. It says Crunchyroll has not specified how exactly it plans to compensate users, with an appropriate value to their Funimation digital copies. Funimation provided digital copies as part of some of the video, DVD, or Blu-ray disc purchases, but Crunchyroll doesn't have a model to support that. So, no one, it's very up in the air on what this appropriate value could be because they don't have the same infrastructure to do what Funimation did in the first place. So it's like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, so
But,
if you were a Funimation user and owner of a lot of digital stuff, just be on the lookout for whatever this compensation is. But all right, so moving on from there, everybody, we have a slew of lineup of announcements that we want to go through. And starting us off, SAO fans, rise up. Rise up, SAO fans. I know it's a few of us out there, but we're still out there. Rise up, everybody. Even though, Shangri-La Frontier dethroned us as the best MMO anime, we still got stuff to look forward to. All right.
At least you acknowledge that.
Huh? Yes, I acknowledge. Oh, yes, no, 100%. Shangri-La Frontier, until further notice, Shangri-La Frontier is the best MMO anime. Until further notice. Council stamped approved.
I agree.
But Gun Gale Online Season 2, or just 2, however you want to call it, got announced. Basically Season 2. Gun Gale 2 Online 2 got announced. And in my opinion, this was the best spin-off SAO, series that we got out of all the different little spin-offs that we can get, that we have been getting so far. I enjoyed the hell out of the first Gun Gale season, and I'm definitely looking forward to the second season.
Same. Honestly, Gun Gale, as far as spin-offs of anime go, this is probably one of, if not the best, just in terms of spin-offs.
Yeah.
Like it told its own story and it did it really well. So I'm very excited for the season 2. This next announcement, Ace might not know this, but there was this small, somewhat popular dark fantasy manga called Ubel Blatt that came out around, I want to say, around 2012.
Oh my!
I think it's when I got.
Oh, now you know. I don't know nothing about this.
A friend got it for me for my birthday. Legitimately, I hadn't even heard of it. She just was like, "Jay, I saw this in a Barnes & Noble, and I thought you would like it." She was correct. That shit was
spot
good.
On.
It's spot on. And apparently, it's getting an anime and a sequel manga. So, if you're interested in it all and you want a manga recommendation, I highly recommend check out Ubel Blatt. And and if you're a fan of anime, action anime, fantasy anime, stuff like Berserk and things of that nature, this is one to be on the lookout for, guys. I promise you. So, Ubel Blatt, dark fantasy manga, is getting a anime and a sequel manga. So be on the lookout for that, guys. It won't be disappointed.
Dope. Well, all right. Well, so for this next announcement, get ready for a review coming in the near future, hopefully. Officially now on Crunchyroll, the Great Pretender Rapunzel anime sequel movie. It's a movie, right? Is now on Crunchyroll.
I believe it's a movie.
Yeah.
I believe it is a movie. Yeah. It's on Crunchyroll. It came out on the 22nd of this February. So everyone be on, if you're
go check it out.
Great Pretender fan,
is this on Netflix? No, I know it's on Netflix, but what I meant to say is the original season on Crunchyroll?
I don't know. That's actually something I'm not sure if Great Pretender is now streaming also on Crunchyroll. But if you haven't seen Great Pretender, it was a Netflix original. Yes. I'm not sure I'm pretty sure it's still on Netflix streaming it.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it's also being shared on Crunchyroll now, considering that's where the movie is.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend checking that out because this is a sequel to the series. So watch that first, then watch this, because you'll probably be very confused.
Yeah,
but so it was great. It was a great series.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to make that point, because I don't know if the actual season is on Crunchyroll. I think maybe it's just the movie. So if you want to, like maybe you say, if you want to watch the actual series, it's on Netflix.
Yep. All right. Next, we have one of the greatest isekais that ever did coming back.
One of the greatest.
Reincarnate as a Slime Season 3 has been announced to be airing on April 5th of this year. And it has a new promotional video /trailer that also came out recently.
Give it up for Season 3, everybody. Season 3. Woo! Woo!
Because they sure left us hanging back in 2022 talking about it's going to take 2 years for the next season to come out.
Now I can finally get around to watching the slime OVA since the season is around the corner.
Out of the corner. Yeah, because I did the same thing. I did not want to watch it just to be like, so when's the next season?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be my preseason thing. Speaking of OVAs, I need to go back and watch that OVA for Mishiko Tensei. The one about old girl.
Definitely.
I need to go watch that.
Definitely. All right, after that, for all of my Elden Ring fans, you'll be happy to know that Elden Ring is getting a webcomic / manga. I know it technically already has one, but that one is a comedy. This one is apparently going to be played straight, like an actual action fantasy series, but it will be in webcomic form, so vertical instead of like.
Didn't an Elden Ring mobile game also get announced or something like that?
No, I do know what you're talking about, but I think it was a mobile game that was trying to like use Elden Ring's popularity or something, but it's not like made by the same people.
Oh, okay. Because I know the DLC got announced. Also, I'm just gonna let y'all know. I forgive. Don't listen. If the content starts slowing down when the DLC for Elden Ring drops, just forgive us. All right.
Yes, please
forgive us.
I'm only a man.
I'm just a simple man with simple dreams and wants. Speaking of gaming though, so this next announcement, everybody get your credit cards out. The next Pokemon game, or I guess side sequel, got announced. Pokemon Legends Z-A? Yeah, got announced. Z to A or Z and A, however you want to say it.
I think it's Z-A, but like Z-A. It has like a little dash, so I put like Z. Yeah, it's coming in 2025. Pokemon listened to the fans. They were like, people loved Legends, so they was like, we're making another one.
We're making another one.
No one expected Kalos, but that's what we're getting, and they're bringing Megas back. So, hey, they got my money. That's
Believe it or not, we actually have a Pokemon Legend Arceus view somewhere on the channel. So if you want to hear our thoughts and opinions on that, you can go take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
We got to bring back some of these game reviews. We do plan on doing it. We just got to find time to actually get around to playing some of these games.
Being an adult, man, it takes away so much of your time.
They do.
All right, and lastly, I'm
sorry, but I forgot to say that's slated to come out in 2025. The Pokemon Legends ZA.
Mm-hmm. And lastly for news here, but not least, Avatar: Last Airbender, the sequel film for the gang is scheduled to release next year in October. We'll be focusing on Avatar. We'll be focused on Aang and his friends and his group when they're in like their late 20s to early 30s ish. You've probably heard about the rumors like floating around that this was coming out soon, but we actually have like a time frame. October.
This has been officially confirmed. Confirmed. Finally. Because once again, just like I'm gonna say it like last time, we wouldn't ask for the other stuff. This is what we want.
This is what I wanted.
This is what we wanted. We didn't ask for the live action, even though the One Piece live action is available now on Netflix, and we do plan on talking about it a little bit. But we didn't ask for that.
I just want you meant to say Avatar, and you said One Piece.
Did I say One Piece? I said that's on Netflix too. It's beautiful. Go watch it. There's actually a good live action adaptation. But I meant to say Avatar, the last Airbender live action is on Netflix now. Go check that out. And we're gonna talk about that soon. We actually already talked about the One Piece live action, but that was with some different stuff. But
Ace's bias was showing for a second there.
I am biased. It was showing for a second. You caught me red-handed. This is what we're asking for. I'm definitely excited for this movie. I will be. Is it coming to theaters or you think streaming?
I think so. I think it's coming to theaters. I believe.
Regardless,
it's coming to theaters. Regardless, I'll be there.
I will be there. Either form, I'm there. Day one. Mm-hmm. In either form, I'm there.
All right. And like I said, that was it for news. So please let us know what your favorite piece of news from today was, and or if there wasn't a piece of news that we mentioned, let us know down in the comments. Right now, before we get into Frieren, I'm going to give us the weekly recommendation, like I always do. So for this week, I present to you a show called How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom.
With his bare hands.
Yeah, not with his bare hands, but almost. So basically, it's another isekai anime where a young man gets summoned to a fantasy world to become a hero. He is promised that like if he helps the kingdom reach prosperity, he can marry the princess. And he's like, hold on now. I mean, y'all don't got to do all this. I'll help you, but you don't got to force me to marry nobody. And initially, when you start the show, you're thinking, oh, it's gonna be like the other fantasies. He's gonna become like some warrior or something like that. In reality, he just uses his knowledge because he was summoned to the fantasy world after being in college to study civil engineering. So he helps them modernize basically their kingdom. Like he helps them with like politics, building, regular stuff like that. And it's just he brings a realistic view to the fantasy world. And it's a pretty good watch. Nothing too special. Has one season full of 26 episodes and it is available on Crunchyroll. If any of that sounds interesting to you, like instead of like the normal reincarnate to another world and I'm OP as fuck animes, I would definitely give this a try and check it out.
All right. I actually checked this one out. Once again, everybody, this week's weekly recommendation is How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom with His Bare Hands, brought to you via McMillian. And we're going to head on to the last discussion for today, everybody. As always, we may be out of mana, but we're not out of options.
We're not out of options.
It's Frieren Beyond Journeys episode 24 review, and I would like to take this time to remind everybody that Frieren Beyond's Journey is the featured anime for the podcast, and that just simply means that you can catch us every week discussing the latest episode of Frieren that came out until it's done. And with the new anime season roll around, we'll pick a different anime, and you can catch us following on with whatever that anime is at the time, right? But all right. So if you give me 2 seconds here, it looks like we lost McMillian. I'm just gonna wait for him to cut back in. Probably gonna have to end up cutting a lot of this stuff out, but we'll see. Hope everybody's doing great nonetheless, though. If you made it this far, thank you. Thank you for being here. And if you just skipped here to this part for the Frieren part, thank you for being here nonetheless. We still love you. Still love you. But yeah, no, Frieren has been phenomenal recently, and I think I said it last time, but just week by week, episode by episode, Frieren is just getting better and better. And I keep thinking to myself, like, how does this just keeps getting better? Like, this shit is so good. But Frieren is definitely hopped up to one of my favorite fantasy animes out there. Definitely at the top so far right now. And I can't wait. I hopefully whenever this season does end, which gotta be soon, right? Because we're up to 24 episodes and this is the second core. So whenever this season does end, hopefully we don't have a long wait till the end of to the next season, to the season 2, right? Because what is it? We're still early 2024. It's just February. So hopefully we get Frieren season 2 like fall this year, right? That's best case scenario. We get Frieren season 2 fall 2024. That's best case scenario.
Yes, I really hope it comes back fast, because this episode right here, I was already in love with the series, but I just thought this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like the way they went about it was very cool. Because we finally learned what like these replicas are called, and it's Spiegels. Yeah, Spiegels. And they essentially do, like we thought, create a perfect copy. And like the first thing we basically get to see when we get back is Dakin's group realize, that we can't fight Frieren. They gave it a good shot, but
did they really give it a good shot?
they tried, I guess. Like, right? Like,
I don't think running away counts as trying. They ran.
Did they not get any shots in?
They ran. They ran. Unfortunately, they called a full retreat as soon as Frieren started and I started blasting, and they called a full retreat.
Yeah, and it's kind of what I remember watching the episode, and I was like, "Yep, Ace was right. She don't hold back," because immediately let off multiple attacks.
When when did you see Frieren fall off a volley of attacks? She been
I'm
doing
about to say that.
single beams and still messing up motherfuckers.
Yeah, in my head, I was like, man, I was like, this is more Fern than it is Frieren
Yeah.
right now.
But I get you. She had to get it from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. It's just usually Frieren will launch off a giant laser, not usually like multiple at the same time. But hey, this one ain't playing no
The
games.
copy said that I had to let you know. All right, I had to let you know the raw power we got behind this door over here. But yeah, so episode 24, everybody, perfect replicas. Now that McMillian's back, we get the show started. Like he already said, this episode was phenomenal. He already started us off. We started off with Dinkins, group realizing they can't take on Frieren's group. Completely understandable. And then from there, we also got some more information. So there is a dungeon boss. We did figure that out this episode. We were right to theorize about that. So there is a dungeon boss. So theoretically, even when they do get to the bottom, they still might have to fight this thing that's making replicas.
Yeah.
If it just doesn't give up. You know what I mean? So it's still that. And then, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I was right about the sense copy, just maybe a little bit off the mark. But the sense copy is here.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah. And since is since is a pacifist, but it's just really cool to see how she would fight if she wasn't, and like she herself.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, just like any pacifist, you put them in a situation where they have to defend themselves, they're gonna defend themselves. You know what I mean? Kind of a la with the Vinland Saga shit we was just talking about.
But it was just interesting because like when they mentioned her at the beginning, her colleagues mentioned her pacifism. In a second, and like one thing they go to show you in this episode is that the Spiegels or whatever, they also, besides just copying your mana, they also copy like your mannerisms, because we get to see that Ubel and her, I forget the clone magic guy's name, they ran into Ubel's copy, and she had the same propensity to play with her opponent and not just kill them outright.
Yeah, and then even on top of that, where like you mentioned, how she stole the little golden bottle from old boy, and she was like, "Yeah, I would have done the same thing."
You're not like, goddamn, this girl's a problem. Shit. But so we find out that they act the same. So in a second, like I think when we finally do see like the sense copy in this episode, I was wondering like, is she gonna be hostile immediately or not? And she was, and I was like, oh fuck. And then when she started turning her hair into drills, I was like, oh well, it's up. It's up for everybody.
Yeah, a grade A threat is on the battlefield right now. We're gonna deal with that. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with that, because it's either going to be 1-2 situations. Like, see how this playing out. The sense copy is just going to stay where it's at right now. Hopefully, it's not going to travel, or it's gonna go after the guys who ran away from them, and now you're gonna have to worry about a sense copy and a Frieren copy at the same time. Hopefully that doesn't happen, or you're gonna have to worry about a sense copy right after you handle the Frieren copy.
So that was my assumption, because I was like, that makes a little bit more sense, I think, than them trying to have to fight both of them at the same time. I don't know how cruel the author is, but like, I'm assuming we're going to get like, at least this next episode is probably going to be focusing on Fern's plan to destroy Frieren's copy.
Yeah. And then let's touch upon that. Don't go too far.
Oh no. I was just saying, and then hopefully right after that, it's like, surprise, sense.
Yeah, no. So, I'm loving it. Next episode, we basically get a master student teacher moment, basically, essentially, right? Because I'm pretty sure Fern. We already know Fern has this deep admiration for Frieren, so she's. But of course, she's probably been looking for a moment that she truly get to show out for Frieren. And what better way than also test your skills than to go up against your sensei, in a sense. Like, this is basically a copy of your master, and if you can actually get one up on it, it's almost like beating Frieren in a sense.
Yep. And I am really interested to see what she comes up with. And it was so funny. Well, like, not funny, but it was very interesting in that moment, because everybody was like, I don't think we can beat this thing. And even Frieren was like, I mean, it's a coin toss, a toss of a coin, basically. me going against myself.
Yeah, because she was
And
like, if
Frieren was
that's
like,
me in
well,
there, that's, even though Frieren said to herself, that's a problem. Like, if that's if that's
uh-huh.
me over there, if it's truly a perfect copy of me, as you all are saying, it's a
now,
problem.
now the funniest thing about that though, she was so happy to see that damn copy. Like
Yes,
she was
because
she had
she
a
was like,
biggest
yeah,
smile on her
because
face.
she's like, oh yeah, this shit's getting good now.
I was like, ma'am, we are trying to live.
But I mean, like she said, this was all Dungeon's all about. And, it's like it's probably a magic she's never seen before. Like you stated, the greatest joy in magic is discovering it, right? And so,
Yeah,
she's having the time of her life right now.
it was just funny because I'm just like, if I was in that situation, I was like, I don't care how interested you are in this. Help
It depends.
me.
I think I'll be excited because like you get to really test yourself because it's like, and truly to beat yourself, you will have to surpass yourself at that moment. You get what I'm saying?
If it was if okay, so yes, but I was saying like if it was me versus me, yes, I completely agree. But if it was me versus Fear, I'd be like,
some
lady,
nuts. All right, you got it.
I can have all the nuts in the world. I ain't beating no goddamn 1,000-year-old.
You got it. I'll have faith. You got it. We believe in you. Be like Dinkin. All right. Well, be like Dinkin a few episodes. Don't be like Dinkin last episode.
I don't know. I don't even. Dinkin wasn't even trying to fight Frieren. He knew if they fought, they was gonna lose. He was trying to steal and leave, and he just couldn't deal with her speed. He was like, "Fuck, it's over." He was smart, okay.
And we ain't never seen Frieren move like that before either until that fight with Dinkin.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That was insane.
I was like, I was like, I wasn't familiar with your game, Frieren. I apologize.
Exactly.
So you ain't even do this against the other demon you killed. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but it was that. So like that part of her being so happy to see the damn thing, and then Fern at the end of the episode being like, I know how to kill.
I think
Miss
I can
Frieren.
do it.
And Frieren, and then Frieren still having a smile on her face. I'm just like, this is so awkward. This is just so weird.
Because that's her student. What do you mean? Like, hell yeah, my student, the guy I trained. Like, you think you can take me down? Beautiful. Let's see it.
I mean, no, I mean that was cool, but I'm just saying the sentence is the awkward thing because it's like, hey, I can murder you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I can kill Frieren Sama. Huh? I mean, yeah, I think I can take her. I believe it. You know what, friend? I believe you. I think you can take her.
No, I mean that's my whole thing. Is usually in media, that's my favorite trope is the student eventually surpassing the master because that is what you want. Hopefully, if you're a good teacher, to do that. That's like the only thing I could compare it to, I think, is like Batman. But like, there's a lot of people have an issue. And because there's a storyline like I think where Nightwing beats up Bruce, and I'm just like that he trained him. He knows, he would know.
Yeah,
he knows.
And of course, with this moment, she won't truly pass her master at this point, but it'll be like a stepping stone still though, and it will still, in a sense, it will feel like it though as well.
Yeah, no, and also I would think this is also probably interesting for Frieren because like Fern has lived probably like a speck of what Frieren's lifetime is. Like for her to be like, I can take out you who has come to understand magic so intimately. That's probably very cool
because
because
once you think about it, well, there's 2 points I wanted to make. One, back to that statement where Frieren made, well, she was like, you only need basic attack magic to defeat a modern mage. Frieren's not a modern mage, so what plan are you gonna come up with for her? 2, the where did it go?
Come on, find it. You did it before, you can do it again.
Oh, we're gonna have to cut. Well, we're gonna have to cut this out too. Damn.
I was talking about how Fern hasn't even lived like a speck of probably like what Frieren's lifetime is, but she feels confident enough to the fact where like she can beat her.
Thank you. You helped me. Thank you. Perfect. So, and 2,
I was like, come on.
2, once you really think about it, seeing this clone of Frieren, this is probably be her first real challenge since like the era of the Demon King. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like nothing since after defeating the Demon King, there's probably haven't really been anything that has truly been able to threaten her. But going up against that
Yeah,
copy of herself, like as she said, like, hey, this is a 50-50.
a toss up. Yeah,
I'm either
and
win
that's
or
a good point.
lose.
I don't think I realized that,
So she
but
could
yeah,
also
you're
be happy in that
absolutely
sense. Like
right.
maybe, it's been a minute since I actually got to show off a little bit. Now I get to actually do that, and I don't have to worry about maybe holding back because it's just a damn copy. I mean, it's not another human being or something or whatever. It's essentially a monster.
I mean, yeah, true. Um, which brings up a good point. Are we hoping to see that next episode, like her go all out, like
Both.
fearing
I'm hoping to see
potentially
both
go all
because
out?
what I think you're gonna see is you're gonna see the dynamic of Fern and Frieren working together to take down the Frieren copy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna be
Yeah,
Fern's plan. But definitely Frieren is still gonna, because like I said, Fern isn't at that level yet. Of course, she's learned a lot, but she's definitely gonna need help to take. She's not. No, we're gonna call it like it is. She's not taking down Frieren by herself. She's not.
yeah. I don't think that would make sense at this point in the story. For her to be able to do that, but if her, I imagine her plan with her teacher's help would work.
Yeah.
And then it'd be interesting though because Fear. I just feel like Fear at the end of it is like, oh, so that's how you would kill me. Remember this.
gotta keep gotta keep that in mind. In case you ever
You gonna
try
have
to
to come up
turn
with a new
on me.
plan
You
now.
want to come, but yeah, it ain't gonna work in the future. Just want to let you know that you gonna have to go to plan B now. But yeah,
Yeah.
but like I said, and then the other, like, if whatever friend doesn't come up with, if that doesn't end up working out, I think we're gonna end up seeing the Sense and Frieren copies fighting each other, because they also
Oh
said
yeah.
like, they made it a clear point that the copies mimic what you do, what the other people's do, and they don't have a mind as well.
Hmm.
And so if Frieren sees Sense, like, start attacking all these innocent people, what would Frieren do? Maybe she would, protect them. You know what I mean? So, would the copy then go and defend them in a sense? Or I guess, could the controller of the copies, like, do they have ultimate control? Like, could they override that, like, that feeling that the copies have by,
Maybe.
from their masters or whatever?
I mean, that's a good
Not
point.
their
Like
masters,
whatever
from
is
their
at the
copies
bottom of
that
this.
they're replicating.
Hmm. I mean, whatever's at the bottom probably has like master mind control, like, or some hive mind or something. Because I think like what they said, the group that fought the Sense copy, they said Sense was guarding like the lowest floor or something like
Is
that,
that what she
right?
said?
I could have sworn that was it. All right, like that we can't get, or it was either that, or maybe I'm just interpreting that because they were like, we can't go any
Because at
further
least from what
because
I
of this.
understood, all floors and levels led to that route that Denkin and group is at now, where the door of Friend is guarded. The Friend copy is the one that
Yeah.
leads to the
Okay. Now that,
underground.
yeah, I remember that, but I thought like somehow they were able to. I guess they got past it because they went in earlier. Like they were able to get there before that Frieren copy spawned there because Frieren wasn't in the, and yeah, actually, you know what? That guy who went by himself might have been the smartest person because, in a way, because technically, if he made it down there fast enough, he could have skipped all the copies and just fought himself.
I mean, but
When
is
you
he the
think about
smartest
it,
person? Because I mean, when we
well, I'm just saying,
the
like,
brief
at
seconds we
least
saw him, that man was crying in the corner.
he was. But I'm just saying, like, if he moved fast enough, if you think about it, technically, if the thought process is that the only copies the dungeon can make is of the people currently inside, he would just have to follow himself. Which I mean, still could be bad, but like at least you don't got to worry about like Sense or Frieren or Fern or
I
any of the
guess,
possible
but
ways you can be
like you
stronger than
have to. I'm assuming it takes hours to get through this dungeon, right? And
this. Yeah,
you have to
true,
have the hours head start to be able to get through it before Frieren and them came through. You know what I mean? So
true. But I'm just saying, like maybe the people. But I'm just saying, like I was only saying maybe those people in some way were able to make it past
and
that
then
room,
we obviously see now it
but
doesn't matter
ran
what
into.
level you're on. We'll as long as you enter the dungeon, I can throw this copy on whichever fucking floor I want to.
Floor. Yeah, I was just saying like that's an interesting point. Maybe like to think about like if they could have made it past that or something like that. But regardless, after the Frieren fight, we have a Sense copy fight, and it'll be interesting to
Yeah,
see how
how they handle it. I'm with
they
you there,
handle that
100%. Like you said, like I said, my
because
money's right now is either like you said, right after Fearing, we're gonna have to fight Sense, or the Fearing copy is gonna end up fighting the Sense copy, something like that. Or
Yeah,
this will
because
be the one time since May actually step in. She was like, okay, I wasn't planning on a me
this is
copy.
still yeah.
Let me kind of, because that still kind of maybe counts as me interfering with the with the test and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So let me go stop my
Handle
copy.
it.
Yeah, I can kind of see maybe that kind of play out like that.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, it'll be interesting because like the sense copy is a very big threat because like what is it when they did the when they made that really good shield like arcane
Yeah,
shield
broke through it.
thing, they were like, hey, there's only two ways to like destroy these types of spells, which is hit them extremely
Or slip
hard
through them.
or find and it was doing both at the same time, and I'm like, yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
Her
you
magic
gotta
simply
go.
says fuck your modern defense spell magic, essentially.
Yeah, what you gonna do, huh?
On both ends. On both ends. I can, the two ways that you can get through, I could do both seamlessly at the same time at that. So what you
Mm-hmm.
want to do about it, homie?
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see how they end up handling that when it gets time to it.
Yeah.
And then also I wonder like where that I mean, granted, Frieren is a very big threat, but Fern within her own right is one as well. And I'm very interested to see what happens when we make it to that.
Ooh, I didn't even think about a Fern copy. I don't. We might not see a Fern copy. Because
Yeah,
I mean, we
like,
got a
what?
Fern in the sense. Do we really need to see a Fern one right now? And then Fern is about to
I'm
have
not
her
sure. I just
moment.
feel like true. I just feel like that might come out of like that one might catch them off guard.
Now that you say it,
like
now that I'm thinking about it,
right.
that would be a wrench in the plan of a Fern copy because I wasn't even accounting for a Fern copy at all.
Yeah, because that was my thing. I was like, okay, cool. We're about to figure out how to defeat one of the greatest mages in history, but like her shooting in this bitch too
is an issue in her own right as well. She, even though she can still be beaten, by other strong mages, of course, she's still an issue in her own right. Because like you said, you give a copy of Fern now, who's probably the fastest attack mage user on the planet. Just everybody doesn't know it at the moment just yet. Now you get that thing of limited mana. How do you stop that?
Yeah.
How do you stop a continuous volley of attacks that's coming faster and faster that's not going to stop because this motherfucker has infinite mana? Hopefully it doesn't have infinite mana because now that we know the copies are being made by an entity and not the dungeon itself. So hopefully, it's based upon the entity's mana.
Hopefully. Because that's the only way around that because just endless volleys of fucking attack magic that get faster each time.
Yeah. Like the mana copies the person's mana, but like how long the copy can stay active depends on the mana of the creature.
Yeah. You better hope he's running out.
You better hope that's how it works for one thing. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, a Fern copy would be a problem too in its own right. I think still it'll be a little bit better than dealing with a Frieren copy, but still, like you said, in its own right, there's still a freaking issue in its own right, man.
Yep.
But I do think it'll be a little bit easier time to deal with because we have multiple mages now that can kind of like put up shields at a time and stuff like that. Yeah. And she ain't got the experience of a 1,000-year-old elf.
Nope.
So it's just not the same. It's still an issue. It's just not a Frieren issue, but it's still an issue.
That's all the point I was trying to say. Is like at the end of the day, it's still an issue. Still an issue. And
I didn't think about that. I'm glad you
brought that up. Especially
if
she just come.
I didn't think about that at all.
Especially if you put her after Frieren and Sense, everybody's tired.
Because now you're tired, and that is worst case scenario. Dealing with a Fern copy when you have no mana. Yeah, because running out of mana in general, running against a mage is worst case scenario. But against a mage like Fern, that's ultimate worst case scenario. You definitely don't want to run out of mana against a mage like her.
Ain't no defense against that because you too tired to defend, and she go. And the attacks won't stop till you till you done.
Yeah, let's just hope after this, we get through the door. We gonna have to get to fight whatever is making these copies, and if they do decide to defend itself with some of the copies, let's let that copy be the sense copy. Let it make its way to the main chamber. It's like, all right, now last copy you got to fight is the sense one. Let's do that. Let's not have Fern the Fern copy coming out the woodworks from the top ropes out of nowhere, like Randy Orton,
out of nowhere.
after everybody's tired.
Out of nowhere. Yeah, it'd be an issue. Ooh, but hey, man, and like you said before, while I was off, Frieren just keeps getting better and better, and we will continue to cover it as this season keeps going. Man, love it.
So, what I guess before we leave out, what are you really like hoping out of this Fern's panel? Are you hoping for like I said, more of a dynamic between Frieren and Fern himself, or you want like everybody to be involved in this fight?
I think just because of how it was framed, everybody. But if I would not mind the other one either. Like if you give me either one, you cooked. If you gave me either one, you gave it's a meal. That would be amazing. But I think just based on like how they ended this episode, I'm being more excited. I would be more excited of like this is a coordinated attack that Fern planned, and that with all these people, like that would be just a cool thing.
Of course,
to see. So,
and then also now I hope what I'm hoping to get to see, we get to see Fern do some other attack spells, because like once again back to the statement that Frieren made herself, modern magic is that's all you need for a modern mage. And once again, Frieren's not a modern mage, so what you gonna pull out?
Yeah it'd be very interesting to see. It'd be funny if they just throw
definitely
funny if they just throw a mimic in there.
I was thinking the same thing too, because I was like, because like you say, going back how it back to it mimics the users of the person that copies the thing. Like, just throw a mimic in there and you just see the Frieren copy.
That would be like, if that happened, I wouldn't even be upset. I'd be like, this is great. This is so funny.
I think I can kill Frieren Sama. You can? Just, give me 2 minutes to see Fern come back down the steps with the mimic in hand. This is all we need.
That would be so funny.
I wouldn't even be mad. I wouldn't even be mad.
Perfect. It would be so perfect.
Because I know we still have the sense copy to deal with. I wouldn't even be mad if that's how they deal with the Frieren copy.
It like I said, it'd be so perfect. I wouldn't even be upset. Like I can't.
She gets trapped in the mimic box and it's like, all right, just load the smithereens now. Go ahead.
All right, we made it past that. We made it past that boss fight. All right, cool.
Yeah, cool. That's that way. Who would have thought? Kind of like an Elder Ring thing. Yeah, just to make the boss fight easier, you just got to go get this obscure ass secret item, but it'll make the boss fight come like mundane though.
Make it easy peasy. Yep. Man.
But this secret item is just a mimic. That's all you gotta do. Just go bring a mimic. You're good to go. The Frieren boss fight is a piece of cake.
Mages hate this one simple trick. Just get a chest. Just get a monster. It looks like a chest. All right. But
yeah, this was a long one, everybody. I think this is our first time hitting an hour and a half in a minute. So if you did end up making it all the way here to the end, I want to
greatly appreciate you.
Thank everybody. Yes, greatly appreciate you guys for making it to the end here. Because like I said, it's been a minute since we had an hour and a half one here. But it was a good discussion though, in my opinion. I think it was a great one. Yep. Yeah, go ahead, take us on out here, McMillian.
As always, guys, saying it again, appreciate you for watching this, listening. If you are watching us on YouTube, like I said before, we are on the road for 100 subscribers, so please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to this on the audio platforms, please consider coming over to YouTube, hitting the subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. But also, follow us over on whatever audio platform you listen to us on. Leave a review. We greatly appreciate it. It helps us grow, and share it with your friends. If you want to stay up to date on all things about the council, please consider following us on our social media. That is at Gurren Otaku's on Twitter and at Gurren Otaku Council everywhere else. Lastly, hope you guys staying warm out there, because I've heard it's been getting oddly cold in places with the winter season. But spring is around the corner, so just hold on. uh, we got new animes and hopefully better weather on the horizon for us. So you all continue to enjoy your anime, continue to enjoy this podcast. We will see you next time. It's Gurren Otaku Council saying meeting adjourned. Peace.